Okay, welcome back. We are busy with a series on how to bootstrap your business. And so I'm assuming you don't have the cash, you've got loads of time, and you are going to spend your time rather than your money on getting your MLM business up and running. This section, we're going to deal with the compensation plan. Now, this is a critical section to get right. And I'll tell you why. Is that over the next 20 years of running your business, the most money you will spend is on the compensation plan. On average, half of the money that you generate goes on commissions. So if you do $1 million, on average, at scale, $500,000 will be paid out in commissions. So understand, when you're making a $500,000 a month decision now, you can't make it with the concept in mind that I'm making a decision for today with my 5 people or my 5 mates or my sister, my brother, and my uncle. You've got to think about this at scale. You've got to think, listen, I'm paying out 50%. We're running a business. We've got 30,000 people. We're doing $1 million, $2 million, $5 million a month. And half of that money is going out. I'm spending $2.5 million a month on commissions. So when you're doing your compensation plan, you've got to understand that at scale, this is going to be your biggest expense. And if you get it wrong, you are absolutely stymied. The compensation plan, you cannot change. Okay, because when you change a compensation plan, what happens is some people gain and some people lose. The people who gain are happy. The people who lose leave. And you can literally lose half or more than half of your network just like that. So getting the compensation plan right out of the door is critically important. Now, on the MLM for CEOs channel, there's a whole lot of videos about compensation plans. And if you go to our blog, you will see that there's a ton of blog posts on every different kind of compensation plan and compensation element. So my recommendation would be that's a good place to start. Go along there, check out the videos and the blog posts on compensation plan and give yourself a good understanding of how compensation plans work and why they work. The second thing they do, and I know I can actually hear all the MLM software companies screaming and shouting at me, but what you do is you go and find yourself 5 or 6 different MLM software providers. Now, these guys generally have got years of experience in the space, and they put together all sorts of compensation plans. And when you go to them, you say to them, listen, I'm deciding on a software company to go with, but the first thing is I need to know what compensation plan I should be using. And you tell them what your product is, and you tell them what your goals are, and they will come to you with suggested compensation plans. You go to 5 companies, you'll get 5 suggested compensation plans. With each company, interrogate the compensation plan. Ask them why they are suggesting this. What kind of behavior is this driving? How will this help your business? Why is this a better plan than what some other company has suggested? And why you should use that particular plan. Now, that is fundamental. Now, understand, they are going to give you that information because they want your business. So, and again, all the MLM software companies out there, please don't scream at me. But at the end of the day, you are going to be getting all of that information free of charge. And so there's no cost involved. Remember, you're bootstrapping your business. So it's hell out important that we're not incurring costs where we don't need to incur costs. Now, these software companies will give you templates which you can tweak and change based on what you found out from MLM for CEOs. And you can then put a compensation plan together that suits your business. Okay, now the key points to remember, and I'm just going to give these as a very high level. The first thing is you need to reward the direct sale. If a product is not sold, you don't make money. Nobody makes money. So the product has got to be sold. And if a person cannot make a living with your business purely by selling the product, then the chances are you're an illegal pyramid scam. So what's critically important is that your network must be able to go out and sell the product, whatever it is, product, service, or digital product, and they must be able to sell it, and by selling it, they must be able to generate an income, because that is business. I have a product, this item, I buy it for $10, I sell it for $15, I make a $5 profit, and I don't have to recruit a single person to make that happen. So the first part of your compensation plan, absolutely 100% has to be some direct sales reward. If you don't have that, chances are you're an illegal pyramid scam. Now, that's not a problem when you've got 20 people in your business. But I assure you, When you get up to 30, 40, 50,000 people and the business is at scale, and you've got the wrong compensation plan, the authorities will come for you, guaranteed. If they deem you to be running an illegal pyramid scam or a Ponzi scheme, the next stop is jail. So this is not something you need to take lightly. You need to take this seriously. You know, I've seen people, CEOs of companies, land up in jail. That's the worst that can happen. But I've seen other ones where the authorities have taken their car and their home and their savings, have repossessed everything that they own in their lives, stripped them of all of their assets to try and pay back all of these people that they've scammed out of money, not because they are dishonest or unethical people, but purely because they're ignorant to the rules pertaining to this business. Now, recently I did a video where I interviewed a lady in the US who does, her name is Donna Marie. She does compliance. And she's got a wonderful book. You can pick it up from that video, but have a listen to that interview and understand that getting your compensation plan right, if you're not compliant in that area, you can land up in a lot of trouble. Then the second thing is what you want to reward is volume sales. So if a person sells one item, he earns X. If he sells 50 items, he earns X plus. So you want to create some sort of reward so that your direct selling side of your business is properly motivated. Then your next section of your business is how do you build a team and how do you reward the leaders of the team. So your compensation plan has to have an element of rewarding the team leaders, the leadership, to show the leadership that if they do train their people to sell the product, if they recruit people into their business and teach them, if they do that, that they can make substantial money. So when you're getting these MLM software companies, the software providers to suggest compensation plans for you, you need to say to them, I want to reward direct sales, I want to reward volume sales, and I want to reward team building. How do I go about that? And get them to produce a compensation plan that focuses on those elements. Now, when it comes to bootstrapping your business, you are going to have to go out there and convince people to fall in love with your compensation plan. What you want is you want them to look at everybody else's compensation plan out there and realize everybody else's compensation plan sucks and yours is the best in the world. And the reason they believe that is because you believe it heart and soul, and you've been able to teach them to believe it heart and soul. So remember when we talked about the product, you cannot run one of these businesses if people don't fall in love with your product, if they're not passionate about your product. If they're just coming for the money, they're going to see the money, they're going to scrape off what they can, and they're going to disappear. What you want them to do is you want them to believe in the product, but just as equally as powerful is they need to believe heart and soul in the compensation plan, in the flow of the money. So when you teach them about the flow of the money, you have got to understand the compensation plan better than any other person on earth, better than the people who are writing the compensation plan. You need to really dig deep in that comp plan and understand all of the nuances. You can't have a high-level view of this. When somebody asks you something, you've got to give them the exact right answer. And then the second thing, you've got to spend an inordinate amount of time with your initial team, teaching them how that compensation plan works and get them to a point where they understand it without any question whatsoever, that they have a deep understanding of that compensation plan, because your leadership need to be completely and utterly sold on the plan. Now, if you can't believe in it, you'll never get anybody else to believe in it. And when I talk about the next section, which is the raising of funds, the compensation plan and the product are the foundation of those. Now, just remember, at this point, you haven't spent a brass bean. You spend no money on a product, you've just identified the product. You've found the service providers, you've signed the agreement with them, you understand what product you're selling, you understand how the product works, you're passionate about the product, you're trained up about the product, you spent no money. The second thing is you created a compensation plan. You haven't signed an agreement with any of the software providers. You've worked out what compensation plan you want by getting their help. You can decide which of those service providers you're going to run with at this point, but you don't have to spend a cent yet. You're still in the point where you haven't spent one bean, not a cent, on anything. You got your product and you got your compensation plan run up. Now that you've got that, you can take your next step, and that is to generate some cash so that you can get the things that cost money, like a software system. You know, software is not cheap. You've got to find the right software provider, and you've got to find a software provider that will operate at scale. So you need cash for that. You can't just take the first guy that comes along. You've got to find a company that's going to provide you with a really phenomenal enterprise level solution. And so that requires money. So in the next section, we're going to talk about raising the cash, how to get some money into your bank, how to get this business cash flowing as quickly as possible. Now, if you're liking what you're seeing in the series, please do me a favor. Hit that like button, subscribe to our channel. Please follow us on Facebook and on Spotify. We really appreciate having your name in our system so that we can actually build up our platform and do more of this kind of videos to help you guys with your business. In the next section, we'll talk about raising the funds.